Hey, welcome back to my channel. The lighting is terrible. I got stuff going on in the background. I apologize about all of that stuff, but if I don't get this filmed, then I'm gonna do it and you guys aren't gonna get to see it. So I'm gonna start a workshop series. This is gonna be workshop number 1. By the time that the video is completed though, I bet that these products aren't gonna be available. But I do want to show you guys how I can take my sketches and go to any, you know, medium-sized kit. This isn't too big. And, sorry, my eyeball itches. And create beautiful masterpieces. Doesn't matter what papers you use, as long as we use the sketches. Now I'm digging really deep into my old sketches. These are not the sketches that I do now. Now I prefer to use this album here, and I prefer the dot. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but they're the dot instead of the grid. This one is my old one. The elastic is so worn out that I had to tie it in place because it just got huge, because I would sketch out on graph paper and then didn't want to resketch it to put it in this book. So that's where I'm at. I saved the pages that I wanted to do. So when I was doing this, I was actually doing this on an airplane, and I ran into these sketches here. Now, I was going to glue this onto this side, but it's, for some reason, I did designs on both sides. What a silly goose. So this is a 4-page, I'm sorry, this is 2 4-page layouts for this design. So this is the cutting guide, and part of this is the cutting guide, but I've got 3 layouts here, and I've got a layout down here. Alright, so I'm going to put my book off to the side. I want to go through the papers. Now what I am using here, I'm going to take out the embellishments. I've got the compliments for I Heart Us. I've got the sequins for I Heart Us, plus my whole die cut collection, so I always include something die cut. And then I also decided to mix it up a bit. Now, I was okay with the I Heart Us paper pack, but I decided not to go with the I Heart Us paper pack. Instead, I chose the bulk paper for it, which is this beautiful rainbow, and I think they're hearts, little hearts going all the way across. Okay, so I have 2 sheets of those, and then I decided, sorry, I'm trying to pull out the other sheet, but I don't find it. I can't find it in here. Here it is. Alright, so that's those 2. And then I decided to do what Close to My Heart calls the mix-in paper pack. So I'm going to put it together like so. So these are the one side, and you get 6 sheets, and they're double-sided. So this is one side, this is the other side. Okay, little bows, all those colors, kind of neutral on this side. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to go through and pick which papers I want for each layout. Once I have decided what papers I want to use on what layout, or the orientation that I want them to go, I will just follow my cutting guides. Now that was one thing that I did not show you guys, was the cutting guide, and the reason why is because I really didn't have one set up for these layouts until I chose these papers and was able to decide. So I'm going to go through and show you guys the cutting portion, only because at first I was going to take it out, but I decided to leave it in because I did make a mistake on one of the pages, and I really wanted you guys to see it. So on top of all of the cutting that I did, so I made all the cutting. You guys saw me make my mistake. It's all good. Fixed it. Everybody makes mistakes. I wanted to leave mine in there so you guys could see my mistake. It's all good. I also pulled a bunch of cardstock. Now this cardstock, from here to the black, you get 2 of each cardstock. Now this is the I Heart Us cardstock paper pack. That is a lot. It's 2 of each color and pretty much the entire rainbow. Then I also have the mix in cardstock papers. I also pulled out the mink because I know I'm going to need a few spots that I wanted to do the mink. I also pulled out 1 more charcoal because I know for my first layout I want it to be a charcoal base, and the I Heart Us cardstock only came with 1. So I have everything inked up and glued down except for like my photo mats and some elements that now I have my stuffs tray right here, and it is full of all the scraps that I used. I'm going to set them off to the side right here, so that way if I think I need like a shelf or a border or anything like that, I have my my sequins taken out of the package, and I have all of my die cuts popped out, and I have all of my stickers chopped up. Now what I do is I go through my page and I sort out the elements that I think I want to use before I start gluing. So I brought in some punches. Now I didn't know which one I was going to use. This one's close to my heart. This one is Stampin' Up. And what I discovered about this, look at that dust. That's embarrassing. I did discover about this that it has a little catch trap in the back. And so all these little pieces get caught. And that was kind of cool. Judging by the dust, you could tell I did not use this on any of my layouts. But I did pull it because it goes with some of the chevrons or pointy bits on the layout. So I'm just going to go through my embellishments, these ones here, and decide what I want on which page. All right, let's get started. Off camera, I sorted out all of the embellishments in like clusters. So if I had stars, hearts, images, things like that, and that way it was easier for me to decide what I wanted on each layout. And the more that I did the sorting, the more I kind of already knew what what elements I wanted on the pages. During this sorting process, I also see what I have available for titles, and then I knew what I was going to need in addition to if I didn't have enough titles within my embellishments. I left this part in because, well, one, I feel like part of the process of me putting these layouts together was missing, and you guys didn't really get to see all of the layouts for some reason. I'm not really sure if I just didn't record it or if I, at an earlier date, I actually deleted it because I didn't think you guys wanted to see that. So now that I have decided which embellishments that I mostly want on there, I'm going to start adhering everything. I still have my hearts, which are kind of like something that I use as like glitter or enamel dots. I'm not sure about these rainbows or this banner. I'm not a real big banner type person. I probably will find spots for those, these 3 pieces, but there are things that I want to go cut out on my Cricut, so I will go and do those. And then I also have these really cool things. Now, what I keep forgetting is this right here. This is a sticker. It's a, can you guys see that? It's a scalloped, tiny little scallop sticker, and I might find a spot for that as well. I'm not really sure because of the paper that I used throughout all of my layouts, but I will try. I will see where it leads me. And then I also have all of these little bits and these little zip strips to put with some of my clusters. Alright, I'm going to go to the Cricut and figure out what elements I want there. If you can hear, my son's outside playing basketball. I apologize. I have adhered the titles on all of them, and then took the embellishments when I shuffled them all through. I took the embellishments and put them all on. I wanted to add the close-ups of the clusters right here because at the end of this section I do end up making a bonus layout using all of the leftovers. There will still be the photos inserted at the end. I just didn't want the bonus layout to make you guys feel like I forgot to show you guys the finished products. And then I also have these two papers, the embellishments and the scraps and the embellishments left over from whatever's left, which makes no sense. However, I do want to create something using these papers. Now the other side of them, so this is the first side, or the side that I happen to have them on, and then this is the other side. So it's little bows and like lines with dots. I have no idea how you would describe that. Crazy. Okay. More than likely I will do a page like this. This is a more than likely that I will do. And then of course I have all of these, like, I'm going to use this layout by Julie Carrier as my inspiration. And what I'm doing right now is I'm going to go and get the cardstock that I feel like I'm going to need for this layout. I'm using 2 pieces of retired cardstock. That's that creamy colored, yellowy, looks really yellow in the camera, because I am going to end up completely covering it. One of the things that I wanted to talk about while I was deciding how this layout is going to go is the main idea of why I wanted to record these workshops, or why I was showing you these workshops, because as I was watching this very choppy film, and I really appreciate you guys watching at least all the way to this part, I feel like this was one of my very first editing experiences, and I'm looking at it now going, where's the rest of the content? But I did feel like I needed to finish this video and actually get it up, even though it is as choppy as it is. However, one of the things that I realized that wasn't part of this video at all is why I was showing you guys these workshops. Now, being a consultant, they show you guys, a close to my heart consultant, sorry, they show you guys how to use up the maximum use of your papers by creating so many layouts and so many cards, and here's these cutting guides to do all of these things, and the scraps left over make you feel like it's done, it's over with, and you don't have to look back, or you don't have anything to worry about. And I felt that that was great, but I'm not a card maker, and I've tried to make those cards that Close to My Heart includes in their workshops, but I don't want 3 of each of every design. I found myself not being one of those that sends out cards, so it was material collecting in my craft room that I just honestly didn't feel like was necessary. So I decided to, I guess, step it up with Close to My Heart's idea and come up with these workshops that were just for scrapbookers. And that was all the intent of it was how many scraps can you end up with? What where does it stop? How far can you stretch your supplies, but not taking into consideration your entire craft room? You can't start with, my whole craft room is my kit, make it go away. It's not possible. But
the idea of taking a collection or a pre-assembled kit and giving yourself guidelines to be able to make, you know, something out of it, whether it be all cards or all scrapbook papers, is all over the internet and everywhere. And most of them are, you know, this is what I did and this is how I did it and everything. And I thought that I would extend on that and come up with cutting guides that can be used not for specific collections. You know, I wanted the cutting guides to be able to be used over and over again, no matter what the collections or papers that you guys are using. The intent of it was to be able to be so dynamic with the cutting guides that you could have 2-page layouts, turn them into single-page layouts, do whatever it is that meets your fancy, so what your style is, and all you're doing is using the cutting guides for the papers. And then once the papers are cut and you guys are ready to create, the hard part is over. For me, the hard part was cutting the papers. And once I got into using cutting guides and the papers were chopped up, it became a lot easier. And I wanted to be able to share that with those that are also struggling. But I also wanted to be able to show everyone how easy it is to actually use up their stash. I mean, that was the whole intent of, hey, I bought a collection. I'm tired of having scraps. I'm tired of, you know, making one thing out of it and then I don't know what else to do with it. And that's basically where these workshops evolved from, is that complaint right there from some of my customers. They just did not have a clue once we created a sample layout what was it that they were supposed to do with the rest of the kit now that it's been chopped up. And I have been enjoying this process ever since. So enough about all of that. I think you guys get the point. I think you guys understand. If not, there's always the comment section left below. I would love to answer any questions that you guys might possibly have. So getting back to this actual layout that I've been creating, I left all of this arranging process in just so you guys can see how, actually, I thought it was kind of cool how I at first had everything laid out, and then once you guys see the end result is completely different. So here are the close-ups of how I actually ended up adhering all of these flowers. I used pop dots as well as glued things directly on the layout. That shimmer trim has got to be one of my favorite products to use on almost every layout. I left the title off because, for one, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to use this layout for yet, but I do still have the title and I can place it on the layout. It doesn't necessarily have to go right there. It could go over on the left page as well, based on what my photos actually will be. And then I also have the banners left over that I just decided to ditch those ideas. So thank you for watching. I hope that you guys enjoy the pictures at the end, and I really appreciate it if you guys made it this far. Again, I want to apologize for how choppy this film was, and so appreciate your support by watching this video all the way through. Thank you.